So, can you hear me? We are live, supposedly. Yes, now live on my channel. So, let me open a new window and give people a chance to show up here. Bear with me, please. This is my second StreamYard. Cool, man. LA Leggett, if that's how you pronounce it. Yes, we can hear and see you. Awesome. So, there's a slight delay here. I don't see your comments in the chat right away, but I see them. I have the YouTube window open as well. I muted my chat. So, like I said before, throughout this discussion, let me know if there are any issues with video and audio. So, I'm going to let people get here for a few minutes before I get to my subject matter for the day, which I'm pretty much going to go off the cuff, but I was watching some news videos yesterday and uh, it doesn't exactly give me hope. Where are you at, by the way? LA. I'm in Quebec, near Montreal, and things have been shut down here for technically 1 week. Most small and medium-sized businesses, and I guess I'll outline the situation while we're kind of getting started, and I'll recap a little bit of what we went over yesterday for the people. Oh, you're in Texas. Cool. How are things over there, by the way? Are you working right now? Is there a shutdown? What's open? What's not open? I don't know if you caught yesterday's stream, but here most things are shut down except for grocery stores, gas stations, and garages, and a couple of stores. Best Buy is an essential service, but it's basically grocery stores here that are open, and alcohol, the weed dispensary, the marijuana store, and all extremely large corporations that are somehow affiliated with the government in some way. They're all open, and government jobs are all open. And the ones where there's too much traffic, they're closed, but they're still getting paid. So rental board is closed here, interestingly enough, and I'm gonna get to that. Also, so is the office of permits, and city hall is closed. So the city guys are still working, which fucking staggers me, because they shouldn't be working. Maybe for some emergency stuff, but going around in a big crew, I think it's a stupid fucking thing. And for future reference, whoever watches this, as an entrepreneur right now, if you're a small company, you can actually play this to your advantage when you're trying to advertise your goods or services on whatever platform you advertise on. You can sell the fact that you're a small team, and you can basically do the job uncontaminated. And the other nice thing about this is that you can, again, you can really sell the fact that you're never going to come into contact with the customer or anything like that. And like we mentioned yesterday, it can be a leave the money in the mailbox type of deal, or they can pay you with e-transfer. But I don't do that because I'm not a big fan of the paper trail. I'm a small business, so I keep on saying I'm just getting started. It's going to be my 3rd year, but okay, cool. So, ouch, it's not bad here. I'm in the country. Big towns are shut down. Curfews, business as usual. Just limit how many can be in stores at the same time. School's out. I have a ranch. I'm working. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. You're living the dream, dude. I don't know how you found this channel, but welcome aboard. Fuck. Or if you've been here for a long time. There's probably a lot that I could learn from a guy like you. So please stick around, because people are going to want to know how you got to where you are now. because that would be fucking amazing. So right now in Canada, like ironically enough, Canada is listed as a capitalist country. I think it's number 8 on the list, and I believe Hong Kong is number 1. But it's almost purely by the notion, I would say, that the means of production are owned by the people. So, as opposed to the government, so they're private. And this is kind of true, but for the most part, um, most industries are like most industries are regulated by the government here. At the very least. Oh, that's cool, man. Passing by and found you. That's cool. Like I was saying yesterday, I don't usually make videos like this. I kind of used to a couple of years ago, but I make more videos about like my work, climbing trees and stuff like that. I like making the GoPro videos, first person perspective, but and sometimes I talk over them, but right now, I have to talk about what's kind of going on. And this is impacting all of us right now. And as small business owners, or if you're a small business operative and you work for or with another guy, like you're going to be impacted by this. And it's really fucked up because if you did everything kind of properly. Hey, Steve Thompson, what's up, man? He was here yesterday. Good morning, Steve. So yeah, if you kind of did everything properly, like I don't know, like a lemonade stand mentality, I think that's a good mentality to have if you're starting a business. You start on the black market. Hopefully, you can keep living and thriving on the black market. But now, even all right, man. Cool. All right. Best of luck, LA. So, if you can survive on the black market, you're fine. Because there's no regulation, there's no intervention, there's no government. And if you have a problem, people are going to fuck with you, but you learn really quickly what to do and how to counter that and how to, if you have what it takes or not. And usually the first real big hiccup that happens to you in your budding business, that's the make or break point where a lot of people turn back. And sometimes you get together with your peers or whatever, and you want to start something and it goes okay, fair weather friends. But then as soon as shit gets ugly, they all bail out and they run away with their tails between their legs, and you're there and it wasn't even that bad, and you're just thinking about how you can keep the business running tomorrow. So if you have that mindset, then you were made for this. So, that's one of the silver linings in all these clouds. So, Canada yesterday just proposed or just approved an even more massive bailout program than they were proposing before. And over 1 million Canadians have filed for unemployment, which is fucking huge. And in a dollar amount, it's huge. Per capita, it's huge. That's only 3 million Americans have filed for unemployment. And we're 10% of America's population. So at most, we should be at like 300,000. But it's fucked up. Like, and in Canada, it's so cliche to mock the States, which is so stupid because everything that happens here is derivative of what happens there, best case scenario. Because despite being listed as a capitalist country, we're not capitalist. The government pretty much owns the means of almost all production here. And it's very hard as an entrepreneur. It's very hard. It's very hard if you're small, because if you're small, you have to be completely under the radar and you're only allowed, quote unquote, to make under 30 grand, which like big deal, just don't write receipts. But as soon as you want to make it, they trick you into thinking that if you want to make it past that echelon, like there's a lot of red tape and bureaucracy that you have to go through and you have to pay a lot of money. And most people can't afford it. So it's actually easier just to keep Big Brother out of it altogether. I know a guy who does landscaping, and he's also a teacher. And he does landscaping every summer, and he works exclusively on the black market. And he has kids. He's in his 50s or 60s now, and he has kids that are in their late 20s and they like went to university and stuff, but now they're realizing that the only way to actually like make money and to be happy is to run your own business. So they're like taking over their dad's like company and has no name. It's never declared anything. And if you can stay under the radar, just don't get too fucking greedy. But you can make all the money you want. You can work as much as you want. So just be smart. It's just a trap, and they make you think that if you want to make something of yourself, or if you want to move up past a certain echelon, then you have to go through the motions and let Big Brother fucking stick his finger in your ass while you fucking work. And that's not the case. Now, I'm going through something kind of like that, but that's because we put up our website and then we wanted to be found on Google. And then we started doing some jobs not for the city, but that kind of needed the city's approval. And then the city started investigating us, and they wanted to make sure we had certain credentials, and which we did not have. And I'm proud to say that I'm not ever going to have those fucking credentials. And we still got referred to the job anyway. And it was also so the customer could get a kickback for the job, which is bullshit, because we did a job for $1,000 and we had to go through so much fucking red tape so the customer could get $500 back at the end of the job, just so the customer could like get the job for half price. And it we undercharged them because times were fucking slow. And whatever, fuck, it was stupid though. It was a mistake also. Like, I didn't undercharge them on purpose. It happens. So right now, this bailout plan, it's going to be pretty huge. And it's pretty bad because Canada, like in all its glorious capitalism, supposedly Canada is rejoicing at this fucking plan, and this plan is fucking idiotic. So what they're proposing now is to give up to $2,000 a month to small businesses for up to 4 months. And it's not just small businesses, it's a bunch of other people, but basically they're going to force this handout on everybody. And it's people are rejoicing. And as Peter Schiff would say, it's asinine. It's completely ridiculous. First of all, the industries are all stopped. Only essential services are supposedly open, and regardless of like how subjective that might be, and hospitals too. Those are essential. I forgot to mention that before. So for anyone that wants to correct me in the comments, feel free. But I said it. So again, as subjective as that might be, again, all big corporations, all production must go on. Production of what? And again, who decides? And look how much good your fucking decision has been so far to quarantine everybody before the virus even fucking has time to fucking spread everywhere. They're going to have to quarantine people again and again and again and again, or just stop altogether. Like, it's so stupid. It's too little, too late. And, give you guys an example. When H1N1 came out, it took a little over a year, I think, for a vaccine to be developed. And I never got it. And then I took the vaccine and I got really sick after. I'm not saying vaccines make you sick. In this particular case, I got really sick. And after 2 weeks, I couldn't eat and I was throwing up every day. Every fucking day. Every time I tried to eat, I would throw up. And I lost a lot of weight, even for me. So it was really fucked up. But people told me I was crazy. Well, it's like, what the fuck could it be then? Someone at work gives me a needle and then I get sick for 2 weeks, but it's not the needle. It's not that. I'm just supposed to trust that what was in it is fucking perfect. And also, doesn't it stand to reason that, although we should be getting the exact same vaccine, doesn't it stand to reason that it might not be exactly the same all across the board? And I was living in buttfuck nowhere when I got it. It wasn't even like a real nurse that gave it to me. It was a person that worked for the company, in the office. And so, and I know that vaccines take a while before they get the dosage right. And yeah, it's supposed to be good, but how do I know it's good? I'm just going to fucking sick myself with it And that was a year later, a year after the fucking like outbreak had happened. And I'm confident now that if I never would have taken the vaccine, then I wouldn't have gotten sick at all. So that's like what I'm going to do this time too. And they're not going to come out with any vaccine anytime soon. So this whole, what they're doing now, they're giving away, it's the definition of helicopter money. It's under the guise of free money, and Canadians are rejoicing and they're saying this like really helps and everything. And now we have money, and now we can pay our bills basically. You know, it's not money for goods and services, because goods and services are shut down. And honestly, like this is going to sound really stupid, but like most people have enough food stores to last a while, and they have enough money for food. Food is not expensive. It's a high standard of personal taste in food that's expensive. But like how much rice do you want to eat? You know? Like exactly, man. Exactly. Steve gets it. It's so much worse than that. It's so much worse than that. So, food is not the issue. And this is the reason for the entire fucking bailout, because what needs to happen, and this isn't because of the virus or anything like that. This is because the government forced 60% of businesses to close. And you have to be really fucking clever if you're one of these businesses and you're closed and you want to either continue doing your job and find a loophole, or start doing something else to bring in some sort of revenue. You have to be really fucking clever to do that. And, so, and not only do you have to figure out how to do that, B, you have to figure out how to inform customers that you're doing that. Customers that have no money, or that are very afraid to spend, because they only want to buy fucking toilet paper and fucking bottled water. And, I can guarantee you that this fucking handout, when it comes, everyone's going to take it. Everyone's going to fucking take it. Even everyone that claims that they're libertarian, or that they hate the government or whatever, or they're like hardcore capitalists, they're all going to say, yeah, but this is different. This is free money. It's not free money, and it's useless. It's going to, okay, first of all, I want to clear a couple of things up here, a couple of arguments that you're going to hear. And I've been seeing this all over the news. That's why I have to fucking go live. And very few people are actually complaining about it. Everyone is rejoicing. Like there's free money falling from the sky. That's not what's fucking happening. And even if there is, it doesn't matter. It's what the fuck is the money good for if you can't go out and fucking spend it? And this is the worst fucking thing. So it's not to bail you out. It's not to bail the businesses out. It's to bail the banks out. That's it. It's just so rent payments can continue. That's it. Because people are forced to not be able to work. Therefore, they can't pay their rent. And that's what should happen. And they can't pay their mortgages, and they can't pay their interest, and so on and so forth. And if you can't pay, that's all there is to it. You can't. And the other thing too, the rental boards are closed. There's a moratorium on eviction for 3 months. There's a moratorium on mortgage payments for 3 months. Again, it's not in national effect, meaning you have to call, but it's in effect. So why pay? It's idiotic. But again, for the wheels of the Fed to keep turning, well, we're going to give these people money to make their payments. And that's the money, what it should be doing. Like, the government is so fucking stupid. So is the Fed, by the way. And not only are they stupid, but they're crooked. And like their intent is for the Fed to print money, and then it's going to go to the government, and then the government is going to lend it to everybody. You're not getting your taxes back. You're not getting money that you paid into it back. You're basically getting a giant fucking loan, whether you accept it or not. And anyone who works for a living is going to have to fucking pay it back for probably the rest of your life in some way, shape, or form. Because the repercussions of this are going to be huge. It was going to, I forgot how many. I think it was It was in the fucking high billions before of how much it was going to cost, and that was before. That was just for $1,200 a person, one time deal. This is $2,000 a month for 4 months, plus the million people that have applied for EI as of the beginning of last week. I don't know what it is now, and they're requesting extensions on their EI, and there's going to be a 4 month extension on EI as well, and all of this is because the government forced businesses to shut down, all of it, and all for the scare of the virus. So it's again it's a perfect pin. So so this bailout, it's not for you. It's for the banks, and you're not getting your own money back. Far from it, and it's going to create hyperinflation, and the economy is going to be flooded with money. But if goods and services don't resume, then the money is useless. And if they do resume, that's the best case scenario. But then there's no need for the money. So the money is a bad idea. It's just going to raise zero to $1,000. It's still going to cause inflation. People don't understand this. They say, yeah, but my family is suffering. And I say, yeah, but that's not going to help. Paper is not going to fucking help you when you can't buy anything with it. You can use it to wipe your ass, but that's about all it's going to be worth. But still, people know this. They're not going to listen. They don't care. They're all going to take the fucking handout. Not me. Like I said yesterday, I don't even have a fucking bank account. I'm fucking trapped in the fucking free market right now. And the free market, even the free market's essentially it. There basically is no free market. The only version of it that we have is the black market, like I said yesterday. And even that's on hold right now. And that's probably going to be, the underground economy is going to be resuscitated, I think, before the actual economy. And that's going to be where most of my transactions are going to be taking place. So just reading what I had written down to talk about. Yeah, so it's also propping up fucking failed businesses, including my own. But there's a difference between a failed business and a business that's required to close arbitrarily. It's or that's not even technically required to close, but has a gag order put on it, and you can't even advertise on Google. So that's different. A failed business is a business that it's not making a profit, like regardless of if it's an operation, and that's pretty much what's fucking happening. Everything is on borrowed fucking currency, and the currency is meaningless. And a couple of other things I wanted to mention that have changed in the past 2 days. So we used to be at QE. QE means quantitative easing. So quantitative easing means that if the government sees a problem, then or even if they don't, it means that the Fed is basically allowed to print more money up to a certain amount. And there are different terms for this, and there's QE1 and QE2 and QE3, and I think it's an exponent of how much extra money they're allowed to print in times of crisis, but times of crisis are at their discretion. So, in the good old days, before this was a thing, and the dollar actually was worth something, the stock market was backed against the value of the dollar. But then when quantitative easing came into effect, there's no longer a finite amount of money. It changes all the time, to keep the bubble inflated and to prop up markets that shouldn't be up. Markets fluctuate. It's normal. But, greedy fucking politicians and the Fed and banksters and, probably a lot of other people that, I don't even know exist, but they've made it this way. And they've made it's just a disgusting fucking snowball. And, the taxpayer is the one that fucking pays for it. And, I can't stress enough it's probably the worst thing that can happen right now. And it's disguised as a miracle. And people think People think it's the solution to the sky having fallen down. And they think that the government is like personally giving you money so that you can weather this virus. Look, the only reason the virus has impacted me is because you're forcing me to fucking stay home. So let me go work. That's, stop fucking banning my posts on Google, trying to tell my customers that I'm equipped and not contaminated and able to work, during these times. Let me do that shit. But no, and you can't even fucking, on all the black market sites, black market websites, what a time, eh? But you know what I mean. So a lot of them, they prohibit you from selling toilet paper, bottled water, or hand sanitizer. I don't have any of those things. Like, whatever, fuck, I have some for myself, but like, no more than usual. But you're not allowed to sell any of them. Why not? Like, why can only stores sell them? Why can't I fucking sell them? It's completely fucking ridiculous. Like, you should be able to profit in times of crisis. And anyone should, not just the government. And that, trust me, man, they're profiting as much as can be for an entity that has no fucking money and no value and no purpose. And, you know, um, I was talking a little bit about Agenda 21 yesterday. I mentioned it briefly. And if you search for Agenda 21 Santa Cruz, you can find a video. It's an hour. It's almost 2 hours long, and it's from 2006. And they pretty much outline a lot of the plans for Agenda 21. And I don't know if it's accidental or on purpose, but I was saying that the culling of the herd is the opposite of how it needs to be done. And, you know, the government is eliminating like all the productive people, for the most part. And they're keeping all the fucking sheep and people that take the handout. I mean, they're going to be fucked in the long run, but who knows how long the long run will be. And, after 2008's fucking housing bubble popped, they just bailed them out and they further fucking inflated it. And even now, even this week, they're reporting that the stock market is fucking rising. It's like unprecedented in times of crisis. It's not because people are fucking hopeful in this fucking non-existent value of the dollar. And if I would say, like, if I would have to predict the direction in which I think things are going, I would say that just like in 2008, the smart guys actually shorted the housing market by betting against it. I would say that if you're in that industry now, but you probably know this already, that the smart move to do right now would be to try to short the dollar by betting against the dollar. And currency is going to have to be backed by gold. It's going to have to be, because this is going to destroy the fucking value of the dollar. It will. But you know how much? Yeah, you know how much money they're going to have to fucking print? And Steve says we're just living on borrowed time. It's absolutely true. And the sad thing is that people knew this already and they don't care. They're just going to keep borrowing it. They're going to get while the getting's good. They don't fucking care. And then they're going to tell you that, life is like that and that all people are hypocrites. It makes me fucking sick, man. Look, like I said before, even if I wanted to take the bailout, I couldn't. I'm not opening a bank account just to take a bailout that I don't believe should fucking exist so I can contribute to a fucking problem. Like, no, I'm going to fucking think my way out of this problem and climb my way out. That's the only way. And, what I think is going to happen. Hey, Roman, what's up, man? Yeah, the whole thing is going to crash hard. Another good point that was brought up by someone else, by Peter Schiff. He said that what they're actually doing, he said it's worse than the government just, giving you a handout that they're going to tax later. He said what they're actually doing is they're buying up all the fucking private businesses, by literally forcing them to close and then giving you cash. And even if you wanted to stay open, the Federal Reserve can print out as much money as they see fit. So they could buy you out, they could buy you out for any amount. any amount that like you choose to sell them for. And the one thing I got sidetracked a little bit, but I mentioned Agenda 21 before, and their plan literally is to have 95% of all land everywhere untouched, and for all of the population to live in high rise, 14-story fucking complex apartments that are all along the railroad. And this is sustainable living because they've deemed everything freedom related basically unsustainable. They've deemed owning land unsustainable and any sort of property. And a lot of jobs are unsustainable. So what they want to do is have everyone living in 14-story apartments crammed in, and there are going to be assigned jobs for people, and the kids are going to be taken care of by the state. And who would go for this? Only someone with no value and no self-worth would willingly sign on to something like this. Yeah, he says it's so Roman says it's so confusing. There's no clear plan for anything. Nope. They're just going to throw money. Well, here anyway in Canada, that's what they're doing. They decided to throw money at everybody, and everyone thinks everyone is so happy. But even if you think that you're going to be able to buy stuff at the stores are all closed. What are you going to do? Buy more cans of sardines? Like I don't understand. And how can people not be concerned about the repercussions? What about when everything opens up again? Nothing. That's why. Okay. That's the genius of it. When I said, the government is buying businesses out kind of like without even having to do it directly. So they're basically forcing everyone to stop working, and they're giving you like money to throw the fight, like in boxing, and they pay you to lose. And you're saying, okay, cool. What do I do when I fucking, when this is all over and I'm allowed to work again? I can't go back to my business. Oh, don't worry about that. Here's $2,000. Oh, cool, great. And people are not going to use this money to pay their bills. People are going to use this money to buy whatever they can, stupidly, and it's going to take another bailout. 100%, 100%. This is not the first fucking bailout that's going to happen. There's going to be a second wave, and they're going to say it wasn't our fault. Then the virus, the virus mutated in a way that we couldn't see. It's because it hasn't even had time to like infect people yet. So like let's wait on that and see what happens. But right now the economy is already shut down, and we even the guys that don't pay into this, by refusing the bailout. I mean, the only way you could really like truly remain untouched by this is that if you have a business that's still functioning regardless, and you're operating, like I said, completely undetected. I mean, I was watching a tree video the other day, and the guy was doing a job that he quoted last year, like before the winter, and he couldn't do it in the winter. And so if you're a big company, chances are you have demand, or a big company. If you're more established than me, even if you're small, but if you're good at what you do and people know about you, then it's possible that you have demand for 20, 50, even 100 jobs in advance. I've never had that many, but I've had like 10. I've had, like around 7 to 10 jobs in advance for several weeks in a row, just my second year. So, I know what it's like. It's pretty good. So it stands to reason that after keeping an operation for 5 or 6 or 7 years, even if you stay small, being small doesn't mean you're unsuccessful. I think the best thing to do is to stay small and to keep operation costs efficient and lean. So you upgrade equipment when you need to get new equipment that makes the job easier and faster and cost less money, so you can bring in more money. But your goal should not be just to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Because what's the point? Like really, what's the point? What's your goal? I have other goals, and I don't want to work fucking 17 hours a day. I don't want to work 10 hours a day. I don't want to work every day. My job's very hard. 10 hours is too much. Once in a while, okay, cool. But I need the day off after. My middle finger is numb. It's kind of going away, but a few weeks ago, it was my entire hand. And at night it was on fire, and it just got more and more and more and more and more inflamed. And yeah, I got to do a lot of fucking stretching and shit like that. And I have to be really careful. But it's just part of my job. And, if I work too much, then things like that happen. And it happens to everyone who does it, or you get muscle cramps or dehydrated, or, it's just part of the risks. And, there's risk in everything worthwhile that you're going to do. And I think also a big part of this is people wanting to avoid risk and wanting the reward right away. And, they don't understand that once again, life is nothing without risk. And without risk, the reward is very, very, very small. And like I said before, like I watched a couple of videos that came up on the Canadian news about how awesome it was that, the government is saving the day, and the government is helping Canada, and the government is helping entrepreneurs, and Trudeau is saving the entrepreneur. It's not doing any of that. It's fucking us. It's fucking us. It's putting us in the fucking ground in coffins and throwing fucking monopoly money on top of our unmarked grave. Roman says there's lose-lose for middle-class people like us. I can't see any proper plan, and it seems to me that when all this will end, we'll have a fucked up world. I agree. I agree 100%. And it's sad. And I think, yesterday I briefly talked about the 20th Century Motor Company. And that's the company that flattened its wage scale. They decided to give everybody the same salary, 6,000 employees. And in the first year, production fell by 60%. This is all fictional, but it was written 60 years ago. And like, it's not the first time it's happened either, in fiction and or reality. So a year of paying everyone the same salary, yep, it gave, production fucking ground practically to a halt. And if anyone wanted something special, they all had to vote on it. And people got jealous, and it was virtue signaling. So the only way you could get something was pumping out another kid or claiming to have a disease or a handicap and not being able to work. So no one worked harder than the other guy, and it became a game of who could work the least. And when the guy who was telling this story was asked about how it got that way, and he said, that's the worst part. He said, we all voted on it, and we all voted it in. And he said, we, just like Steve Thompson just wrote in the comments, everyone wants the easiest way without working for anything. And, the guy in question, he said, we all thought that it'd be a just way to get part of the guy above us' salary. But what none of us realized was that for every one person above us, whose salary we wanted, there could be 100 below us who all want my salary. And he says, hell, maybe we did know that, and we just didn't care. Because, like you said, Steve, it was an opportunity for people to get something unearned. And I really think that that's the fucking driving force. Well, if I say, I'll go out on a limb and say that the driving force of the Fed is to try to get something unearned, or the government to try to get something unearned. Well, like, yeah, no shit. And it goes beyond that. Like, or I would say, if you want to bring it back several steps, and let's say the government is not sinister, and doesn't want to kill you and doesn't want to fucking treat you like fucking human cattle. Thanks, man. LA Leggett says, hit the like button, guys. Hit that shit. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So, even if the government weren't malicious, it's still someone else. Why would you put your well-being in someone else's hands? Even if I was handicapped, I would want to take care of myself. Like, really, what? It just doesn't make sense. But they don't have your best interest at heart. They have no idea what your best interest should be. They don't even know if they're coming or going. Watch world leader conferences. And I mean, like, the WHO and UN and NATO. It's a joke, man. Like these are the people that want to be in charge of everything. And they think that you and me aren't smart enough and shouldn't have the right to think and govern ourselves. And what I would like to see happen, I would like to see the market collapse. I would like to actually see right now at this point, because I think it's too late. I think everyone is so jacked to the tits about this fucking bailout, about the banks being bailed out, that they're all going to take that fucking money and they're going to keep making their minimum payments. And it's going to start another bailout. And I think that, for the little guys like us that are already shut down right away, we're going to be allowed to go back to work when the period of the bailout ends. So I don't see me being legally allowed to like resume full operations. If they're offering a 4-month bailout, like I assume there's going to be a quote unquote work quarantine for the safety of the population for at least 4 months. I'll be very surprised. But if non-essential services, like I said, quote unquote, go back to being allowed to work, then there's no issue. Another thing that I get to go by because I work outside is that technically landscapers should not be working right now. But if they go out, and some are going to try, but it depends on how many of them try, and it depends on what the repercussions are. If they're out in full fucking force and, none of them are getting in trouble for it, then all the tree guys are going to be out in full force also. Maybe some of the stupid ones are going to take $500 a week to stay home, but you got to be really stupid if you're a fucking arborist and you're willing to stay home for $500 a week when you could be working. You could be because you can make $500 in an hour, like you can. And like I said yesterday, do I make it 10 hours a day, $500 an hour, every day? No, fuck no, no. But I made $500 an hour. I made the most I've ever made. I made $1,700 in an hour, and I split it with Mark. But it's a good haul, and we did that our first year. So anything's possible, and this whole thing is, going to make people say, I told you so, for not taking the bailout, because then your small business can't survive. And it's like, it's not that. It's not that it can't survive. It's that I'm prohibited from being allowed to work. So I think it's a perfect way to discourage. And if you're thinking of starting a business in these times, like it's a great way to discourage you because you're not allowed to do anything. But now's a perfect time because what the fuck else are you doing? You're staying at home. And if you work for a really big company, like Roman in the comments, I know he works for a big company, and you're probably laid off right now. Hopefully you're getting, part of your salary. And, if where you're living, they don't offer any handouts, just people being on employment insurance, being laid off is really bad because, the money has to still go out and there's nothing being produced. So like it's still, there's still a recovery period after that. But, for the most part, like the big companies, if you work for a big company or in production or in a big warehouse, it's going to seem like nothing changed for you. Like right now, it probably seems like you're sort of on holiday. Yes, forced leave, but you might be getting like 60 or 70% of your salary. You can spend time at home with your family on Instagram, watch Netflix. You can order shit on Amazon if you're still getting paid. You got nothing to worry about. The only thing that you have to worry about is when this ends and when you go back to work, and then you can start getting your full salary again, and then you can fucking buy the boat that you were saving for. And like what I'm going to say is that it's going to be like that at first, and outwardly it's going to seem like everything's the same, but everything's not going to be the same because you're not going to get a raise when you go back to work, and everything is going to be more expensive when you go back to work. Everything's going to be more expensive for everybody. Hell, 2/3 of businesses, that are closed, like half of those businesses. So pretty much, 1/3 of all businesses now are closed for good. They're hey, Mark. 1/3 of them are closed for good. They're never going to reopen. Like the people have to go do something else. Like I said, I'm in a different position because my business basically is contained. It can be contained inside my truck. All my tools, all my everything, all my gear, truck and a trailer, and that's it. That's all I need. But if you have a storefront, you know, and if you have fucking rent to pay and customers aren't coming in, and you're not allowed to have customers coming in, and your rent is like, $3,000 a month or whatever, like you can't pay it. Even with the handout, you can't pay it. And that's the real solution. The real solution is to not pay any debt. To anything bank or credit related, that's the solution. The debt has to be wiped clean. The debt to China has to be wiped clean. Like, you fucking kidding me, man? You kidding me with this shit? Like, we don't owe you any money anymore. You fucking made the whole world sick because you lied about a virus that, like, anyway, whatever, that people are using as an excuse to wreck the economy. And if the States didn't owe China fucking what, $20 fucking trillion, fuck yeah, like I'm sure this wouldn't be happening. If Canada didn't owe China fucking $3 trillion, this wouldn't be happening. We owe per capita more than you guys, and it's gonna fucking go up. And I'm sure, and even if the States is smart enough to dissolve their relationship with China, don't worry, Canada will pick up the slack. So if you feel bad for China maybe losing its power to take over the world, don't worry. Canada will help. Like, we're the most fucking cucked country ever. Well, arguably, I would go. I bet some Swedish people would go toe to toe with me on that one. But yeah, let me know if you're from a country more cucked than Canada. Fucking put it in the comments here. And I gotta say, like yesterday, thanks to all you guys who watched the video. It got a lot of views from my channel, and it got a really high like ratio. Not one downvote, but a lot of likes, man. Thanks a lot. And based on the algorithm, based on my I don't know what it's called, my channel statistics, I guess, people watch the entire video. So that's pretty rare for a 2-hour stream. So that's pretty fucking good, man. I guess a lot of people related to what I have to say, and I really appreciate it, and I'm glad, because it shows me that people are capable. At least the people that come to see my channel are capable of rational thought. I've had my channel my channel has been shadow banned for a while, several years, and it's not a hard ban because the channel's still here, and people still get notifications, but not everyone gets notifications all the time. And not just that, a lot of my comments don't show up. And yeah, a lot of them go straight to spam. That happens sometimes here, guys. So if you comment on videos and I don't answer, like, unless like you call me a faggot or something, like there's a chance I'm gonna fucking like heart the comment, because like I can relate with what you're saying. So if I don't do that, like I'm not giving you the silent treatment or anything like that. And if I think you're a fucker and I want to shut you down, then I'll argue with you in the comments. So I'll make a fucking response to you. But if you think like I'm fucking censoring you or something like that, I'm not, man. YouTube hides comments from me all the fucking time, and it puts comments in the fucking spam folder all the fucking time. And videos that I comment on, it hides my comments. And a lot of the time, like I'll write something, like I'll go out of my way to write something really relevant, and it's going to show up on my device. Like, oh, hey, Greg, look what you wrote before. And when I look on someone else's device, it doesn't show up. And this is a way that they choke the life out of my channel, and they prevent my channel from growing. And, another thing too, like the algorithm is not kind with me, but it still favors some of my content. So that's why I say it's a soft ban, because a lot of my videos are searchable. A lot of them are. But the other thing is that most of my videos, surprisingly, they're viewed by people who are not subscribed to me. So where I'm going with this is that for the guys that watch and for the guys that appreciate my content, whatever type of content you're here for, whether it's a skateboarding, although I haven't made a skateboard video, all winter, and or the tree videos, or the fucking political commentary and philosophy videos, I appreciate that you're here, because most of the people subscribe to me, like they don't give two shits about the content. And I realize it's like this for most channels. Most channels are only going to get about 10% views on their videos is the amount of subscribers they have. So that's about what I have. And I know every YouTuber thinks that like they should have more subs. Like, yeah, okay, I think that too. But what really pisses me off is, when I write a fucking comment like on a video or on a channel, and I want to outline my point of view, and I'm not saying, hey guys, check me out, sub to me, nothing like that. But I'll make a relevant argument or a comment or something, and to give people a clear idea of my mindset and what type of content I might have. Because when you read a comment and you're like, oh, cool, go to channel, or oh, motherfucker, go to channel. I want to fucking whatever. Like, but I'm not even showing up for, I would say, over 3/4 of the comments I write. And a lot of the time I have to write to the YouTuber and I have to ask them if they saw my comment and if they deleted it and if it's in their spam folder, and apologize for wasting their time. But I want to know. And so far, everyone I've written to has told me the same thing, that they never got the comment in the first place and it wasn't even put in the spam folder. And yeah, okay, sure, they could be lying to me, but some of these people, like, I've been pretty friendly with, and we go back and forth and we watch each other's videos and we pin each other's comments and stuff. I'm not really doubtful that they would ban my comments and lie to me about it. I'm way more certain that it has something to do with YouTube or a glitch. It's like the glitch I was talking about in Google My Business yesterday, which again, it really pisses me off because I worked really fucking hard, and I worked really hard to get myself viewable. And it's just, on top of having like a YouTube channel that nobody gives a shit about, and a lot of other stuff that, I work really hard on that no one gives a shit about. Like, when I can finally feel like I'm breaking away from that, it turns out that it's like, nope, we're going to make it so no one can find you here. Oh, coronavirus or climate change, you know? And yeah, sure, it's selfish, but if it's happening to me, it could happen to a lot of other fucking people. And like I was saying in the last live stream, a lot of people are saying, oh, that could never happen to me. Even right now, you know, like people are saying, I'm essential service. I could never get laid off. It's like, dude, you get laid off, and anyone can get laid off unless you own your own business. Like, it's fucking your tenure wherever you work is subjective. Like, and what do the legal ramifications matter if all the law is basically shut down? Think about that too. You know, to a degree, especially in these times, um, the law can only hurt you to the degree that you subject yourself to it. So, if you're doing something, or if you feel you have to do something extra legal, everything's fucking illegal now. So, like, define illegal. Just don't go turn yourself in afterwards. Yeah, Roman says, I feel so bad for some people who have taken a loan from the bank to start a small business, but now they will be in debt. And if the government gave the money, it wouldn't be enough for everyone. No, and it's not enough. It's not enough. And, even if they're not making you pay back that money that they give you, they're going to make you pay it back. They will. They're just not going to tell you. And they're going to raise the prices of everything else. Taxes are going to go up. They're going to find a way because they have no money. They have no money. And also, they have no industry themselves. The entire industry is convincing people that, you need them to run your life and to manage your funds for you and to save for your retirement for you. And they charge you for all of this. And there's no choice. It could be voluntary if you wanted to, but it's not voluntary. It's forced. It's so I think now probably what's going to happen. I think there's everyone's going to take the bailout, and I would be surprised if the work stoppage ended before 4 months, but I think it's going to last 4 months. But if they let people go back to work, like, I don't know, like next week or, in 2 weeks, even, like, I'd be really happy. I would be. And, but people are going to take the bailout, and then People are going to spend, but not on the right stuff. And they're going to buy TVs and shit like that. And after that, they're still going to pay maybe the minimum, but they're still going to default and it's going to take another bailout. And then the dollar is going to collapse. And like, honestly, it's already collapsed. It's just all this is going to happen or going to have to happen for people to recognize that. It collapsed in 2008, but they fucking bailed out the Fed. I'm sorry, the Fed fucking bailed out the banks, and it took 12 years for it to fucking get to popping point again. And, you know, people still refuse to accept this. If you guys haven't seen The Big Short, I recommend watching it. I recommend watching it, especially right now. It's a really good movie, and it talks about all the guys that basically saw the fucking crash of the housing market happening, you know, before it happened, and they were trying to warn everyone, and no one will fucking listen to them. And they actually made a lot of money off it. Sad thing is, I don't think I'm gonna make money off this. You know, if I could, it'd be cool, but I'm just trying to keep my head above water. But you know, I know that no handout is gonna help me do that. So in the meantime, you know, when businesses open up again, you know, they're just not going to open. And the only things open are going to be the corporations big enough to have been deemed essential services by the government. No, I don't mean like restaurants and stuff like that. And that too, like that's at the restaurateur's own risk, you know, and at the risk of the staff. You know, like, and grocery stores as well, like it's very essential. Like in grocery stores and hospitals, pretty much, especially if there's a quarantine and if there's a work stoppage. Like I would say, even at that point, like gas is subjective, because if people aren't traveling, why do the gas stations need to be open? You know, yeah, sure, there should be access for, again, maybe food service and like hospitals, like ambulances or whatever. But you know, the average person, you're on lockdown. You're on lockdown. It doesn't mean like, yo, manufacturing like little fucking nuts and bolts that are going to be fucking mass sold overseas. Like that's not an essential service, you know? And like all these big businesses that are still open, like a lot of them are just that. They provide fucking knickknacks. And, you know, these and any business that's nationalized, basically, again, any business that the government has a fucking hand in is going to be open, you know, because again, when this stoppage ends, the small businesses, most of them will be fucking closed. And the ones that start up again, even if they're ready to start up again, like they're the last ones that are going to get any fucking, any mention. People are going to rush to the fucking big guy right away. That's the guy they know. You know, Costco, you know, like for example, you know, look at Costco now. Like Costco, I would say Costco has a monopoly, but no, like I would rather go to Walmart right now because Costco has a ridiculous fucking line procedure. We have grocery stores here. We're just going to the grocery stores like normal. They have reduced hours and reduced staff, but it's not like heavy quarantine or anything like that. Like you just go and you buy your shit and then you pay it the cash and then you bring it home and you fucking wash your hands and your food before fucking eating it. Like there's not much more than that you can do. Like if you want to wear masks and gloves and stuff like that, like it'll help. But if you're going to be carrying like the same mask and gloves and clothes around with you everywhere, it's not going to help. So it's okay if you put on sterile equipment before going into the outside world where it's possibly contaminated. But whenever you come back into a sterile environment, like you have to decontaminate yourself first. So you can't have like a mask that you wear like outside and then bring home, and like even your shoes, everything has to be left at the door pretty much. Like when I drove the grease truck, I used to clean grease traps a few years ago. And I had like a fucking rubber oil resistant hazmat suit on and my respirator and glasses and like chemical resistant gloves and boots and shit like that. And because that shit was fucking foul. And I had a 200-gallon barrel at the end in my fucking yard at home. And at the end of every fucking shift, before I walked into my house, I'd strip down to my fucking underwear and I would put my fucking suit inside the fucking barrel, and the barrel was filled with water and degreaser. And the degreaser will burn your skin. Like, you can't touch it. Fuck. So when I would fucking stir it around there with a fucking stick, and I would degrease my hands and then rinse it off. And I would go inside my house. And then like underwear goes in the fucking washing machine, wash my hands, and put on my normal clothes. And yeah, so a mask and glove will help you, but you got to be prepared to do steps similar to what I just described every day, all the time. Otherwise, you're just wearing a fucking suit and you're going to go in the shit with it. And then you're going to come back in your house with the same suit and you're going to make food with the same suit. That's about the fucking gist of it. So it's constant disinfecting and decontaminating if you want to go that route. And if you set yourself up for it to be that way, then good. But unless you're 100% thorough, all your work is going to be fucking useless. So it's my opinion, but it's not really my opinion. It's the way it is. I used to paint also, shooting paint like for cars and stuff like that. It's the same thing. You can't contaminate the paint booth. So, and again, like when you have your suit in the paint booth, like you fucking take it off after. But it's like the opposite for painting. You don't want to bring contaminants from the outside world into the sterile environment. But in this case, the sterile environment is your house. So it's the same. But, like essentially, like I think business has to carry on. I think personally what I would like to see right now, I would like to see no handout. And I would like to see everyone defaulting on all their fucking bills. Because like, how can you pay them? And I would like to see an end to the work stoppage. And that's what it should have been all along. It's at your own risk. It is. It's at your own risk until we have fucking more tangible fucking symptoms. Especially if it's inevitably going to spread and spreading like it's spreading. Like, work should be at everyone's own risk. Be smart. Don't eat fucking bats. And the border should have been closed, but it's too late for that. But work should resume. I think work should fucking resume. And the quicker work resumes, the quicker people are going to be, exposed to the fucking virus, and the quicker we're going to actually be able to see what we're actually dealing with. And if we actually need to take fucking precautions, instead of just shutting down the economy before fucking anything actually happens. And, that's what I'd really like. I'd really like for us to be able to return to work. And it's still going to be tough to like bounce back because a lot of customers have no money. A lot of customers are entrepreneurs. A lot of them are not. A lot of them are laid off or fired even, downsized, no pay. And it's fucked up. I could get into it. I'm going to make another video. Like I said before, this isn't the content that I usually make, but yeah, it has to run its course. I agree. People have to let it run its course, Steve. But they won't. You know the word Epicurean? If you guys have ever been on Tinder or anything like that, all girls describe themselves as Epicurean. That's like the fucking buzzword, liberal buzzword. It means the opposite of stoicism. So being stoic, you don't complain about every little fucking problem. You solve problems instead. Work through it type of deal. Marcus Aurelius founded the philosophy. Epicurean means that you live your whole life in the avoidance of pain for the pursuit of pleasure. And that's the highest fucking honor you can have. And a lot of people, it was actually thought up as a counter philosophy to stoicism, i.e. like being a decent person. It's like the birth of fucking liberalism. And a lot of your parents too, if they're boomers and stuff, like even if they don't know the word or the definition, it's like a lot of people too. They don't know what the left or the right are. They don't even vote, but they're like hardcore fucking lefties. Or some people too, they're like hardcore fucking capitalists and they don't vote, they just sell and like they buy low and they sell high and they survive off the profit. And it's just, the wheels of business turning. Like that's cool also. But like personally, when I learned, the different castes, I guess it cleared a lot of things up for me on why a lot of people were the way they were. But I still to this day can't figure out why you would want to be certain ways, And I agree, like, wholeheartedly. The only thing that has to happen, Steve, the only thing that's going to fix this is for it to run its course. And it's for the market to dictate what will happen. And, everyone is fighting so fiercely to not let that happen. Everyone is fighting so fiercely to let centralized government take care of everything. It can't. Like, it can't. How could it? And they even, there's no secret to the solution. They told us up front they're going to print more money and they're going to give away money. And that's our solution. Everyone's like, yay, great, great, Canada, thank you. Like, what are you, crazy? It's like, again, what good is that? And that's, even if it wasn't going to cause like fucking hyperinflation, the likes of which we've never seen before. This is the largest fucking bailout in fucking history. In recorded history, anyway. Like, what the fuck does that say? Like, it's going to be fucking terrible, fuck. And people are ignoring this. They're saying, yeah, but that's like not my problem, fuck. You know, at best, the people are saying this, are retirees maybe that might be like the least affected, but their children and their grandchildren are going to be fucking working until they die as a result of this. Forget retirement now. If you're my age, let's say if you're like, under 40 and like you wanted to retire at like 65 and you work for a company, oh boy, you're fucked, man. Even if you have a pension that they promise you, it's going to be worthless by the time you get it. It's going to be fucking worthless. And because of this bailout right now, like, man, there are going to be all sorts of new fucking deductions on your paycheck. Maybe not your first one, maybe not your second one, but it's fucking coming, and it's going to come soon because billions of dollars given, like, they do not go unaccounted for long. There's a string attached to every one of those fucking dollars, and it's attached to the tip of your penis, fuck. And when they yank it back, you're going to have no choice but to go, and you're already in bed. And, I also want to say, for the guys that, wow, that's awesome. Roman Unplugged, funny thing is my state share border with China. As soon as we heard about the virus and the border was closed, and I guess because of that, we don't have a single one affected by the virus. Yeah. Crazy, eh? That's what's supposed to happen. Good on you, man. Good on your government. Not every country is equally idiotic, it seems, which is very good. So there is hope, and that's a good precedent. Anyway, like, someone in another video was saying that, closing the borders. Yeah, I'm pissed off of the Chinese government too, Roman. Someone was saying, well, a lot of people are saying that closing the borders to prevent virus transmission won't do anything because an airborne virus doesn't care about borders. Okay. But if a safe distance is 2 meters or even 1 meter, like, wouldn't it stand to reason that as long as the border is 2 meters wide, like, the virus can't travel across it? And the border is more than 2 meters wide. I know I'm stupid for using this type of terminology, but it is. You couldn't close like half a mile down the road each direction, because if they're telling us to distance each other socially by 2 meters, and it's less, it's a fucking, like, man, it's complete bullshit. Again, you can't close the fucking road half a mile. It should be only 4 meters if you want to be twice as safe. But yeah, close that shit. Why? They can't do that? And people laugh and they say that wouldn't do anything. Of course it would. That would do everything. Unless, what you've told us so far is not true, maybe. Which I have no doubts, the government is being lying to us every fucking step of the way. I know I say Peter Schiff says, but he says, especially about this, not to believe anything the mainstream media says, you know, about any of this, because they're fucking wrong. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, it doesn't matter. But the central banks and the government are fueled by two things: stupidity and greed. And today, I had some stuff that I wanted to do today. It's going to be kind of hard because I have some repairs to do on my work stuff, and it'd be a good opportunity to do it. But a lot of the tools I have are at my dad's place in the garage, and I don't want to get him sick. If I'm sick, I might be a carrier, and I might not notice it. But I might not be sick, but who knows? You know, so I have to think of a way to do that because it would be a shame for this time to go to waste. And you know, it would be nice if, like Steve says, this thing ran its course. It would be nice if businesses were, or you know, if non-essential businesses and non-government businesses were allowed to remain in operation or to resume operations. And yeah, the ones that have closed down, like, and that can't open up, it's sad. But it's going to open up the market for the people like me and like you, hopefully, that have stuck with it. You know, and that's best case scenario for me anyway. Like at this point, like that's what I would really like to see. And like I mentioned yesterday, I think it would be a good idea to start hustling on the side right now and figure out something that you can do to earn extra money or extra stuff. You know, like I made a joke yesterday about working for TVs, you know, to trade them for a truck. If the customer I was working for didn't have money or didn't have a truck to trade me, well, give me your TV, you know, give me 4 of your TVs and give me that and that and that. And then I'll trade that to someone for a truck, you know. But it's not a bad idea to start doing stuff like that. Another suggestion I made yesterday was that, you know, if you have a vehicle, even if you don't have a vehicle, even if you have a fucking bike, man, I don't give a shit. If you're fucking healthy and you feel like it, you could probably make a lot of money offering to do people's groceries for them. So there are a lot of ways you can do this, man. You know, you can tell people that you take Interac e-transfers payment up front, which again I don't do because I don't want the government in my shit. But I would say leave the money in the mailbox. You know, like give me your shopping list. I'll figure out how much it costs. I'm going to charge you like this much extra. So it's going to be like $120 or whatever. Put the money in an envelope in your mailbox. I'll go pick it up and I'll buy your groceries with it. And I'll leave them at your door or whatever. You know, I know wear a fucking hazmat suit or whatever, but you could do that. But yeah, fear sells. So you have to wonder what the truth really is. Of course. And it's way easier, right? Just to say, I avoid all risk. I'm going to play it safe. Well, they weren't counting on this brain because I do the most dangerous job in America. Even though I'm not in America, I'm in Canada, but same shit, man. Same shit. And not only that, but my job is the most dangerous job because of my job. I'll explain. The most dangerous job is a logger, and it encompasses basically everything in the tree industry, which I think it shouldn't, even working at like a pulp and paper mill. But yeah, like it's traditionally though, they mean like a forest tree feller, like when you think of it. But the arborist, the climber, has the most dangerous job in the entire logging community. Doing anything at heights makes it way worse, especially, and doing the most dangerous job you can do on the ground in the air, it makes it 100 times worse. But I just mentioned that because I do that for a living. I don't really give a shit about fear mongering or someone telling me that I should be afraid to go outside, or I should be afraid to get hurt, or I should be afraid to get a scar, or I should be afraid to fail. It's like that's my living, man. That's I wouldn't have it any other way. Hey, a boy named Gilroy, what's up, man? And I think this is like, I guess it, everything's a test. But if you consider yourself a libertarian, this is a test also for you. Because if you do, like, you don't really rely on the government. You don't have faith in the government. The government isn't what gets you by every day. The government isn't what enables your business to continue running. You survive on your own merits. And this might have an effect, like me, like forced to fucking not work outside very narrow, specific conditions that it's very hard to inform the customers of. But again, if you think that the government is going to help fucking solve this, then I would fucking say that you're not a fucking libertarian. You should be getting out of this on your own, or you should be even largely unaffected. I feel stupid. I feel stupid because I didn't plan ahead, I guess, enough. But I don't know, what could I have done? I was planning. I was accumulating my things. I just didn't have enough time. So I'm not kicking myself so much for that. But yeah, naturally, like I'm kicking myself because I wish, like probably so many of you guys, I wish I could just fucking drive away and live in my cabin, that exists in my head, in the wilderness, 5 hours away and be unaffected by all this. I really wish that, but I can't because I don't have that yet. And then I tell myself, well, if I was good at work, or if I knew what I was doing, or if I didn't refuse those 3 or 4 jobs that I thought were too dangerous or didn't pay me enough, then I would have had an extra $10,000. But even if hypothetically I were to take this handout, that's $6,000 that I would be getting, and what I need a new work truck. I looked at a truck the other day. It was $3,500 with a dumping bed. So, it'd be very easy to say, well, with the $6,000, I'll take the fucking handout and then I'll buy a work truck and I'll save $2,500. And, I'm going to get money anyway. And the dollar's going to crash, but it's not going to crash during this time. Well, it might. And if it doesn't, then like, so what? Like I applied for fucking benefits and I got some free shit. And now I'm contributing to the problem. And everyone's taxes are going to fucking go up because of it. And everyone's freedom is going to be restricted because of it. And probably cash is going to fucking end because of it. And I know people don't want to refuse a handout. I want to refuse a handout. I want to, in case I wasn't clear. I very much want to. I would rather work for my truck. I'd rather work for everything I have. And I like my work. My work is fun. And even if I didn't like it, I would rather fucking work, man. I've been living below the poverty line. Maybe technically not like the past like 2 years, but man, ever since I left home, fuck, at like 21. But yeah, like for 16 years, pretty much. It never entered my mind once to go on welfare, like all my fucking friends, and work under the table at the same time. Or to fucking go on employment insurance every winter doing seasonal work and then to work under the table. It's like, why? And they say, oh, we paid into it, we're getting it back. No, you're not. You're causing it. You're making it so much worse. You're making it so much worse. I think employment insurance should be the same as your pension. You should save it with your own money. Yeah, it's hard to do that when you're being taxed so far up the ass, but I don't think anyone should fucking put any faith into what they mandatorily have to take off your fucking paycheck. I can't stress this enough. Yesterday I mentioned that jobs aren't even jobs anymore unless you work for yourself. Even if you work for yourself, I see people falling into that trap. Everything's so regulated. Your salary is regulated. Your hours are regulated. When you take your breaks are regulated. How long you fucking take your breaks for are regulated. There's company behavior that has to be regulated. Everything's regulated. You can't negotiate shit. If you're better than other people, you can't fucking demand more money. Well, you can, but good luck to you. They're going to tell you the same thing. Everyone has to do this for the same amount of times. Like, fuck that, man. Fuck that. And I've argued with people about this. And I've said I set my own price. And if the customer wants to pay it, they pay it. And if they don't want to pay it, then no harm, no foul. And I go get a better customer. You know what people's response to this is? Yeah, but when you get an actual job like me, it's not negotiable. It's like, all right, genius. Like if all your fucking great intellect gets you is a fucking shitty job where you're not treated any better than the fucking moron working next to you, then why the fuck are we even talking to each other? Like what's the fucking point? So I think I would really like work to resume, and we're trying. I'm probably gonna go out today. I've been wanting to test out some new equipment that I got, and I have some big trees in my backyard that I can go up and down and like test some stuff on. It'll look pretty cool. I might do that during the week. I might do it before then, because it's a good thing to practice. It'd be really stupid to not use this fucking time wisely, but I'm trying to use it wisely. I'm trying to use it as productively as I can. And I encourage you guys to do the same way, to do the same thing, I mean. And, if your business is fucking ground to a fucking halt for factors beyond your control, uh, just think of ways that you can resume. And if you've put your faith in a big company and you're laid off, you know, um, you're probably worried a little bit too. And I think you should be. And I think you should be worried not only because you don't know how long this is going to last and you don't know when you're going to go back to work. And yeah, it sucks being at like 3/4 salary or whatever, but don't expect things, unless you're like where Roman is right now. He says he's pretty much unaffected, doesn't have a single one affected by the virus where he is. That's fucking awesome. But I have a feeling that for the most part, there are going to be there's going to be ripple effect repercussions at almost every job, and almost every job is going to have massive layoffs because when this is all over, not even over, when the bailout that lasts 4 months, $2,000 a month for 3 months or for 4 months or whatever, when that's over, one way or another, like production is going to have to resume. And it's when production does resume and the economy kind of starts up again, it's going to be really fucked up. It's going to be really fucked up because people are going to be on the rebound from something that's way worse than they knew. Boy named Gilroy picked the worst possible time to quit my job. On the plus side, I've been prepping for years. Yeah, that's good. Look, man, I don't think it's a bad time to quit your job. Like, I think, money is worthless right now. You need belongings, you need things. I don't mean things to like show your status. Like, you need stuff that's fucking useful to you. Like whatever that is right now. Like savings in the bank, it's bad for people with savings in the bank. It's the worst for them. Okay? Like because they fucking did everything right. And now their money is going to become fucking worthless. Fuck. It's going to become worthless. And another thing too, if you're thinking about buying gold because you can afford to, because you have the savings to buy gold, and buy that shit. Like, I said yesterday, I would probably convert, if you had a little bit of cash, try to convert it to more cash and then buy what you need. And then you can buy gold after that. Like, gold is still relatively stable right now. But when cash starts to fucking fluctuate, the value of gold is going to fucking skyrocket. Or the demand for gold, I should say, is going to fucking skyrocket. And you can bet that the banks are going to be trying to buy up gold too. You can fucking bet on that, man. So they're going to back their fucking fiat currency and they're going to bluff and bluff and bluff and bluff as long as they can, as long as they can keep it up. And if people are smart, like they'll buy all the gold out from under their fucking noses before they can make their fucking filthy move. And, if it can return to the hands of, private citizens or private businesses, at least, temporarily, it's supposed to fucking circulate. It's not supposed to accumulate. It doesn't fucking work like that. It's the beauty of gold. You don't go fucking print more. Like, yeah, you can mine more, but yeah, that's a good comment too. A boy named Gilroy, silver is still so low. So all the elites can buy tons of it at a time. Get it while you can. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. I think you should. I think if you can, you should. And short of that, even again, and like work for barter right now. And I'm not saying it's like hard times, but like, no, it's smart, man. Barter. Barter for the stuff. Barter for your services. People will be fucking happy. We're just gonna try to think of an order of operations of the stuff that we need if we would have to make a list. But so we have a fucking general outline. But we're gonna learn that through field work, I guess. And the more people we go quote, especially if they don't have money, especially if they want to trade something, we're gonna have to see what people end up having to trade before we start getting any realistic expectations of it. So anyway, that's it for me today, man. I'm gonna start my day. So all you guys showing up, thanks, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the fucking feedback, and stay tuned because I'll be making content like this as long as this thing fucking lasts. So you guys are gonna hear from me. You're gonna know what I'm doing. You're gonna know what happens to me. You're gonna know if I find any ways to, if I found a way to think myself out of this, and you're gonna know if I fucking eat shit. Yeah, everything is a pyramid scheme nowadays. You don't have to take part in it though. It's people trying to fucking game the system. Like it's wrong. I said at the beginning, almost everyone I know is gonna take the fucking handout. They're thrilled about it. I think it's beautiful. And probably yeah, it's fucking sad. So anyway, guys, keep hustling, keep making money and making gold, I guess, but keep making money the real way by working for it. And don't let anyone tell you that the solution is to put your eggs in someone else's basket. So I hope you guys have a good day. If you like this video, hit that like, share, subscribe, leave a comment after. And yep, boy named Gilroy. True, this virus is to cover up their theft on a massive scale. I couldn't agree more. I'm going to be going live again soon, at least, even if it's not virus and economy related, because here we're largely affected. We're not allowed to do anything here. We're not allowed to fucking congregate in public really here unless you're by yourself. And, it's kind of a fucking pain. So I don't mind shooting the shit with you guys if we talk about lighter things. But, this morning's discussion was on the more serious side. So having said that, hope you guys have a great day today. And it's overcast here, but it should be pretty nice. It's still snowy and cold, but that's melting. And I hope it's nice where you guys are and that this shit isn't affecting you more than it has to. Take care, all you guys. See you soon.